forever be an Edomite. You are not just an Edomite in this life. You're an Edomite in the next life. In the next life, you will forever be an Edomite. It's just what the Bible says. You will forever be an Edomite. Just because you're an Edomite in this life doesn't. It means you're going to be an Edomite in the next life. In the next life. In the next life. You will never be an Israelite. I will never be an Israelite. You will never be an Israelite.
What made you start reading this?
I wanted to live life how God intended life to be lived. I wanted to humbly be in my place. I humbly accept that I, an Edomite, will either be slaughtered by God's angels or be a slave to the Israelites. And I accept that, and I live my life to the fullest. Because right now, this is our world. We are the wicked.
Hey, alright, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the sincere apostles and elders of a great millstone who are my teachers, and peace and salutations to you brothers out there preaching this word in truth and sincerity. This is the brother Yahweh Sap with another lesson. And basically today, man, just going to be going into how these devils know. You know, they know who they are. They know who the true biblical Israelites are. All right, and I actually had a conversation with Chat GPT, and even through about an hour of interrogation, it came to the conclusion who the true Israelites are, which are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians. And I say so-called because your heritage, your lineage goes all the way back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, and then if you want to take it a step further, it goes back to Adam, you know, which of course we all come from Adam, but we know that it goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Man, we are the true biblical Israelites, man, and the way that we identify it is based off of the curses and based off of the blessings, man. And there's no other nation, all right, upon the planet right now to where the curses in Deuteronomy fit the anyone else, you know. And so for my first precept, I wanted to grab the book of St. James chapter 2 and verse 19. It says, "Thou believest that there is one God, thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble." And so that's right. The devils, they know that there is a God in the heavens. All right. And his name is Yahweh. All right. And they also know who he's for. They also know who his people are. All right. As you heard from that Edomite's mouth. All right. He was telling his parents, all right, that they're Edomites, that they're the devil. All right. That they're going to go into slavery under the Israelites, or they're going to be slaughtered, man. All right. And that's not something he came to his conclusion on his own. All right, that's something that the Lord ended up revealing unto him by way of either the prophets out on the highways and hedges, all right, or he read it in the scriptures, man. All right, because we know pertaining to Obadiah, we know what the judgment of Esau, Edom is, and ultimately is going to be cut off forever, you know. And so, without further ado, I actually wanted to jump into my conversation that I had with Chat GPT. And pretty much just going into it. All right, I'm gonna jump up. All right, and I'll start around here. And so it says, would you like to dive deeper into how God says he will reveal his true people in the last days, and how the nations will respond when their true identity is restored? And that's right, because the only ones out that are proclaiming to be the lost tribes, to proclaiming to be the true sons of God, are you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, man. All right, and so pretty much it says the world will witness their restoration, and these are precepts that this AI had grabbed for itself. All right, and so it says Ezekiel 36 and verse 23. And it reads, "And I will sanctify my great name, and the nations shall know that I am the Lord, when I shall be sanctified in you before their eyes." And it says God's restoration of Israel will be so miraculous and undeniable, the nations will recognize it This won't be hidden or political. It will be divine, visible, and global. And so that's right. And this ministry has went out throughout the four corners of the earth, and now people are starting to wake up and realize that they're first and foremost being ruled over by the devil. All right, and then second, they're also coming to the understanding that they aren't the true people of Israel, man. That those people over there in the land of Israel right now, those are the fake JOOs, man. All right, and that's why you see more and more anti-Semitic laws being pushed. They don't want this truth coming out. All right, and so it says to the dry bones vision, Ezekiel 37. All right, this is a step-by-step prophecy about the physical and spiritual awakening of Israel, and the only ones you see that happening to are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, man. Because when you go into the history of the so-called JOOs, all right, they never lost their heritage. All right, they always had, according to their history, they always had camps. They always had congregations that held on to the word. All right, and that's why they were able to claim rights to that land in 1948 and whatever the hell else they are given excuse for. All right, but pertaining to the scriptures, as we're seeing, it says the first point is bones come together, physical identity begins to return, sinews and flesh appear, structure is reformed, but no breath, still spiritually dead. Then God breathes life, full restoration by his spirit, and we're seeing that happen right now. You're seeing the Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, or North American Indians waking up and coming back into your true heritage, man. All right, you're seeing all kinds of Jake wake up and coming back into the ministry, coming back into the fold of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. And it's a beautiful sight to see. It says key point. All right, and I'm gonna skip through this for time's sake. It says key point: identity, unity, and spirit-filled life will only return by God's hand, not politics, not migration, not military force. And so these people, this AI understands it based off of just the scriptures of the conversation I'm having with them. It understands that when Israel is restored, it's going to be by the Most High. It's not going to be by any politics. It's not going to be not by no treaty. All right, it's not going to be by migration. That you Israelites, you just one day you buy a plane ticket and move to the land of Israel and claim it. That's not what's going to happen, man. The Lord is going to lift up his elect remnant, the 144,000 and the 1/3. All right, and place them in their land. All right, we're not gonna have to make no treaties with any nations to gain that land, man. When Joshua came into the land, he went around taking it. All right, and let me grab this real quick in the book of Daniel, chapter 7. All right, because when Yahweh Shai returns, we're gonna take it by force. We're not gonna ask. This is the book of Daniel, chapter 7, and verse 18. It says, "But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever." And so that's right. When Yahweh Shai returns, we're gonna take this kingdom, man. We're not gonna ask for it. All right, and then Babylon the Great, aka America, is gonna be destroyed by thermonuclear fire. Okay, and so it says 3. Back in the chat GPT, it says 3. The Messiah will lead the gathering. All right, and so it says Ezekiel 37:24, "And David my servant shall be king over them, and they shall walk in my judgments." It says David is a reference to the Messiah who will reunite Judah and Israel, rule them in righteousness, bring lasting peace. And so pretty much we understand that it's going to be Yahweh Shai, and then it's going to be Yahweh, and then under him is going to be Yahweh Shai, and then under him is going to be King David. All right, and then under him is going to be the 12 apostles, and then under them is going to be the elect remnant. All right, and then so on and so forth. There's going to be an order and a government that's established under righteousness. All right, and so it says this directly connects with Hosea 3:5, which, it says David is a reference to the Messiah. No, this is talking actually about King David. All right, King David is going to be part of that ruling government in the kingdom. Okay. And so it says Hosea 3:5, "Afterwards shall the children of Israel return and seek Yahweh their power, and David their king in the latter days." It says conclusion: Israel's return and recognition happens after the Messiah is revealed and leads them back. And so we understand that these just based off of this conversation that we're having, that I was having with this AI, when you take feelings out of it and you take out different interpretations, all right, you come to the conclusion of how Israel is going to be restored, man. All right, it's plain and simple. All right, but you have all these people that have fed you lies, have taught you things that were not true. And so when you read the Bible, you got Jake bugging out, all right, talking about they'd rather be with the evil of this world. They'd rather be with the quote unquote beautiful people of this world. All right, not understanding that this gospel, this good news is only for Israel, man. All right. And that's why ultimately Esau tried to take the identity of us, of our nation, of our power. All right. Try to feed us lies. All right. Try to separate us from the love of the Heavenly Father. Okay. And so it says, for the nations will be shocked. Isaiah 61:9. And their seed shall be known among the Gentiles, and their offspring among the people. All that see them shall acknowledge them, that they are the seed which Yahweh has blessed. And they're going to acknowledge because they're going to see with their own eyes the restoration of Israel. Let me grab this real quick, as we just read. But Wisdom of Solomon chapter 5, and I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear, and shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they looked for. And that's right, because Esau, the so-called self-proclaimed white man, thought he was going to get away with the destruction of you Israelites, man, with the chattel slavery, all right, with the buck breaking, all right, with the torment that he did unto you people. He thought he was going to get away with it. All right. And so when they see Yahushua crack them clouds open, and they see the so-called Negroes, Latinos, North American Indians get raised up, they're going to be troubled with terrible fear. All right. That's why they try so hard to hide this truth from us, but it's coming to a point to where even their AI is coming out with that conclusion of who the true Israelites are. All right, we're about to get into it, but this is just more and more evidence. And so it says, verse 3, and they repenting and groaning for anguish of spirit shall say within themselves, this was he whom we had sometimes a derision and a proverb of reproach. We fools accounted his life madness, and his end to be without honor. How is he numbered among the children of God, and his lot is among the saints? Therefore have we erred from the way of truth, and the light of righteousness hath not shined unto us, and the sun of righteousness rose not upon us. We wearied ourselves in the way of wickedness and destruction. Yeah, we have gone through deserts where there lay no way. But as for the way of Yahweh, we have not known it. What hath pride profited us? Or what good hath riches with our vaunting brought us? All those things are passed away like a shadow, and as a post that hasted by, and as a ship that passeth over the waves of the water, which when it is gone by, the trace thereof cannot be found, neither the pathway or of the keel in the waves. And so these devils, they know this, man. They know that when Yahushua returns, this is what they're going to be groaning and saying. They didn't want this Bible to be true, man. They didn't want, all right, us Israelites to wake up to who we are. All right, that's why they put everything in their power, all right, to hide this truth from us. Okay, but now it's being made more and more evident that you Israelites are the true biblical Israelites are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians. All right. And so back in this chat GPT, it says everyone will know who the Israelites are. No more guessing, no more identity theft. And they're saying identity theft because, hey, who stole the Israelites' identity? Hey, you so-called white men. All right, you Edomites. Okay. And so it says 5, their identity will be reversed. Hosea 1:10, in the place where it was said unto them, you are not my people, there it shall be said unto them, you are the sons of the living God. This implies they will be disrespected, disbelieved, and scattered for a time. But God Yahweh will reverse that narrative in the exact places where they were rejected. And yeah, we're rejected really all over the world, but the main place where you 12 tribes dwell is here in America, aka Babylon the Great. All right, we understand that this is a place where we were told that we were just niggers, spics, wetbacks, beaners. All right, we were painted at all type of bywords and proverbs. All right, even unto this day, we were told to be thankful, thank the white man. All right, for basketball, for football, for McDonald's, for Popeyes. We were told to thank this man. We were told that they made books about how we would never learn, it was impossible for us to learn. All right, they made books about how good we tasted, how to cook us. All right, they made all manner. They took our inventions. All right, things that we invented, they stole from us. All right, patented it and then took all the credit for it. Okay, but now in this same place, you have the Israelites coming out and proclaiming who we truly are. Okay, so it says, key point, their true identity will be revealed publicly and vindicated by God, not by governments or religious institutions. All right, and so it says 6, they will be set above all nations, Deuteronomy 30. And you should know, all right, that according to Deuteronomy, that we're going to dwell in safety alone, right? So it says Deuteronomy 30 and 3 through 9. Then the Lord your God will turn your captivity and will have compassion and will gather you from all the nations and make you plenteous, and the Lord will again rejoice over you. And again, Isaiah 14, 1 through 2, for the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and set them in their own land, and they shall rule over their oppressors. All right, and these are all precepts that it grabbed on its own. These are all precepts it grabbed on its own. Keep that in mind. It says this shows the reversal of status. Once enslaved, now free and ruling. Once scattered, now gathered and exalted. Once forgotten, now remembered and glorified. And so summary, how God will reveal the true Israelites. A scattered and forgotten, physical awakening begins, spiritual revival, Messiah gathers them, global recognition, return to the land in peace. All right, what happens? It says Israel loses heritage, identity, bones come together, identity reawakens, God's spirit fills them, they truly live. David rules them, full return begins. Nations see and acknowledge who they are. No more war, full restoration under God Yahweh. So that's right. And so it asked me if I wanted to go deeper into how to identify the lost tribes. All right, and Salaki if I'm flying through this, man. But it says part 1, how to identify the tribes of Israel to date. And so it brings up the curses, Deuteronomy 28. And it says key identifiers, all right. It says your sons and your daughters shall be given to another people, slavery, forced separation of families, all right. And it says description, real world parallel. You shall beget sons and daughters, but they shall not be yours, chattel slavery and child removal. You shall serve your enemies in hunger, thirst, nakedness, colonial oppression, and economic exploitation. I will bring you into Egypt again with ships, commonly understood as the transatlantic slave trade. Says these curses help pinpoint who the true Israelites are today as they reflect forced migration, mass enslavement by ships, loss of identity and culture, historical oppression across continents. And so the only people who that happened to were your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians. All right, as it says, many believe this best fits the history of African Americans, Latinos, of Caribbean and Central South America, Native Americans. All right, these curses, and then it brings up Deuteronomy 28:46. These curses shall be upon you for a sign and for a wonder, and upon your seed forever, man. And so the only way you'll be able to identify who the true Israelites are today is not by looking at a treaty, looking at different governments that protect anti-Semitism. No, but by taking a look at the Bible. All right, and actually reading it and seeing the curses and the blessings and matching it up with the people that it matches up to. All right, who did Planned Parenthood affect the most? Who did the financial system oppress the most? All right, what system was set in place to keep certain people at the bottom forever? Who was considered 3/5 of a people, man? All right, hey, we could go on and on. Okay, so it says Jeremiah 17:4. This speaks of forced forgetting. The people of Israel would lose knowledge of their language, land, name, and identity. It says, what people on earth have had their names changed from Hebrew to slave names, language removed, and heritage stripped, and told they were something else. Hey, and exactly who did that? All right, it says again, the transatlantic slave trade victims and colonized indigenous peoples fit this curse perfectly. Hey, and so, hey, Esau knows, man. These devils know. All right, Hosea 1:10, where it was said, "You are not my people." There it shall be said, "You are my people." Right? Says this prophecy is about identity reversal. Those who were told you are not the people of God will later be recognized as the true Israelites. This directly fits people today who are mocked or disbelieved when they claim Israelite descent. Who are these Christians going out and learning the Bible just to go and argue with, man? All right. Who are the ones out preaching on the and prophesying out on the highways and hedges, and people coming up scoffing, mocking, all right, trying to take brothers' lives, man? Who's doing that? And who are they doing it to? Okay? It says are rediscovering. It says this directly fits people today who are rediscovering their biblical heritage spiritually and scripturally, not politically. So who's doing that, man? All right. It says ethnic markers among the lost tribes today. In addition to curses and prophecies, many researchers also look at Hebrew cultural remnants, fringes, dietary laws, customs, oral traditions of West African tribes, migration records of Israelites into Africa and the Americas post 70 AD. And so it goes off on some of these things right here. But pretty much it's linking the curses to who it fits, right? And so it says part 2, who stole their identity? All right, it brings up Psalms 83. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people. This is a clear biblical conspiracy to erase Israel's identity. Key players listed: Edom, Ishmaelites, Moab, Ammon. All right, Amalek, a branch of Edom often symbolizing spiritual opposition. All right, Revelation 2 and 9 and 3 and 9, those who say they are Jews and are not. This refers to those falsely claiming to be God's chosen people while oppressing the real people. Many interpret this as referring to Edomite imposters, especially Amalek, who have historically tried to wipe out Israel and replace them. All right, it says Obadiah. It brought up Obadiah. All right, 1 and 10, for your violence against your brother Jacob, shame shall cover you, and ye shall be cut off forever. Edom, Esau's descendants, has a long history of envy and violence against Jacob. And who today does the spirit of Esau, Edom fit? It says the Bible prophesies judgment against Edom, who tried to take Israel's place and land. Who's doing that today? Who's trying to take Israel's the land of Israel today, or who set up a treaty to take it, and who's trying to expand it by bombing the Gazans, the Palestinians, man, over there in Gaza right now? All right, who's doing that? Says summary: identity theft in the Bible. All right, nations conspired to erase Israel's identity in Psalms 83. Imposters falsely claiming to be Jews, or Revelation 2 and 9, 3 and 9. Obadiah, Edom will be judged for stealing, oppressing, and betraying Israel. Final understanding: the true Israelites today are those who fit the curses of Deuteronomy 28, who lost their identity and heritage, who are now awakening spiritually to their true lineage. The imposters are those who claim Jewish identity without matching the prophecies, who came to the land by political treaty, not by divine gathering, who promote lawlessness, not Torah, in the land. And there you go. There you have it. All right. And so pretty much, I told him, now that you've learned this, the true Israelites are the Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, correct? All right. And so it says, according to this interpretation, many groups, particularly in the Hebrew Israelite movement and other related teachings, believe that Negroes, Latinos, all right, and Native Americans, they represent the so-called, not the so-called Salaki, they represent the true Israelites based off of all the information we have gathered, right? And so it says, I want to jump down. So to answer plainly, according to this interpretation of the Bible and history, yes, It identifies the Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans as the true descendants of the Israelites who were scattered, cursed, and are now awakening to their heritage. And so pretty much Esau knows, man. All right. He's the one who's programming this AI. All right. And it came to that conclusion. All right. Based off of all the information that we have gathered, all the information that I was just asking it simple questions. How to identify the lost tribes, who took their identity, things like that. And it brought out the scriptures. It brought out the key points that we, all right, bring out on the highways and hedges, man. And so with that being said, we'll go ahead and end it off. We'll go ahead and end it off in the book of, man, I just had it. Salakia. Man, I just had it. Oh, Khan. We'll end it off in the book of Isaiah, chapter 49. If I'm not, it might be Isaiah or Jeremiah. Let me check. Excuse me. I believe it might be Jeremiah. Excuse me. Jeremiah 49. Okay, Khan. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 43. And it reads, "The king of Babylon hath heard the report of them, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pangs as of a woman in travail." And so, Esau, Edom, the king of Babylon, has heard the report of them. The report of who? The prophets. All right, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, your true biblical Israelites who are out on the highways and hedges prophesying, all right, preaching in the words.